Hello, everyone. Welcome to a webinar
Hey,
hosted here by myself and Pravir Chadha. We have Rory Gentry from Datamatics who's going to be jumping on in a minute. I'm glad you all can make it. Welcome. I'm Larry Fleischman. I head up global sales here at Datamatics, and today I get to play moderator, which is always exciting. I play a little traffic cop, occasional comic relief from the incredibly wise individuals that will be on. But in terms of the topic today, so we're talking about the contact center and how to bring AI into, bring some humanity into AI, and really how does the contact center go from a cost center to almost like a revenue center? And if we're honest with ourselves, the contact center has a bit of a identity crisis. It's kind of been this way forever, in my opinion. For years, it's always been stuck with this dreaded label of kind of this cost center, something where budgets essentially go to die. But AI has been changing the game. We've seen it. We manage multiple contact centers for lots of brands all over the world, large and small, some of the most disruptive brands. And they're asking us these questions. How do we take the low-hanging fruit, whether it's on voice, if it's on chat, if it's in social media? How do we look at some of these channels? We're having these wonderful conversations with our customers directly in all of these channels, and they're asking us these questions. How do we turn the contact center into more of a revenue machine for organizations where they get to really build more, drive that brand equity? And so suddenly these conversations that used to drain resources are now kind of creating value. They're growing loyalty, they're building brand equity, and yes, potentially even driving brand value and driving revenue. So to unpack all of this, I've got two people much smarter than me. Pravir Chadha, who runs global operations. He knows how to turn strategy into execution at scale. Rory Gentry, who's on the team, she lives at the intersection of social media. Scrolling for her is a sport, and CX transformation is kind of what she does, and organizations look to her to build these types of programs. She helps brands grow from being more reactive to being proactive. So buckle up. We're going to cover the shifts. We'll cover the opportunities, maybe even get to the stuff that nobody wants to say out loud, that AI and humanity in the contact center actually can work together. And if you stick around till the end, maybe you get to ask some of the hardest questions, stump them, do whatever you can to really drive that. So to get started, we'll take a poll, if that's all right with everybody. And I'd like to know, and we can discuss this during the program or after, how does your current organization view the contact center? Is it a cost center? Is it customer service with some revenue impact? Do you see it as a strategic revenue driver, or if you're not sure? So that's the poll we're going to take, and we'll touch on that after. But let's start with Pravir. Pravir and I have worked together for many years, so I know him very well. I kind of have seen him take contact centers that built them from scratch and built them into wonderful machines, or he's taken ones that weren't quite ready for this type of uh, you know like a transformation, and has taken existing fairly mature programs, turned them on their heads, and had a lot of fun doing it, and integrated AI and did all this wonderful automation. So when you look, Pravir, at work shifts and you look at cost structures and efficiency benchmarks, how would you say is AI automation and augmentation reducing these repetitive tasks, starting to look at empowering agents, and how are you using AI to create more high value conversations?
I think, are
Pravir.
we looking at some answers? What is the audience saying? Hey,
Can I get the
hi everyone, good
conversation
to
going?
proceed. No, I was just looking at the question. The questions are quite interesting. So we see, okay, how does the organization currently view the contact center? Cost center, 18%. 45% say the customer service with some revenue impact. Strategic revenue driver, that's interesting. 11% say, 9% say not sure. So, but I would say, if my maths is correct, About 63% still treated as some kind of a cost center. But at the same time, we've got a big chunk which also says it's a revenue driver. Now, that's an interesting conversation. See, the entire, and Larry, thanks for bringing that up, the entire contact center industry, the way it is today, it is not going to be existing the same way in the next year, year and a half, 2 years. What you're totally moving towards is a call center or contact center BPO environment supported by AI and agentic AI. Does that mean that the AI and agentic AI takes over everything that we're going to do in the next 3 to 4 years? That's a large question that people ask, but that's not what it seems to be. It's going to be more HITL, a human in the loop kind of situation. What will happen is, in our view, that the contact center, given some of the tools and technologies that you're looking at, I mean, if you look at some of the text that coming in the market, whether it is on intelligent analytics using artificial intelligence, agentic AI driving and doing the work for you on some of the easier transactions and jobs that you might face in the contact center, whether you're looking at agentic AI replacing some of the mundane daily tasks. So, what you're largely looking at is your cost shrinking and your revenue increasing from the same contact center and the same call center with an interesting HITL and a human in the loop kind of solution. And there are so many new techs that are coming in the market to support that, whether you're looking at Google, you're looking at Microsoft, you're looking at things like, you know, Meta. I mean, even the glasses that Larry is wearing right now is recording everything. And those are Meta glasses he's wearing. I mean, that's the level that AI is going to go just to make your life easier and simpler. And but at the same time, the contact center BPO industry is heading towards a massive, massive change. Either we all decide to move with it or move without it. It's a $400 billion industry today, which is going to grow exponentially considering customer demand for products, population in the world increasing, population in the world aging, so many beautiful things happening. Disposable income continues to increase, which means the work that we do in the BPM, BPO environment, which is service our customers, will continue to increase in each and every industry that you could think of, whether you're thinking of healthcare, you're thinking of retail, you're thinking of travel, logistics, or you're just plain thinking of customer service on the insurance side or anything else that you're working in today. The
Let me
demand
pause you
will
right.
increase. Go ahead, Larry.
I'll pause right there because so I get where you're going at, and I think that it's a fairly broad 30,000 view. Uh, you're taking the helicopter up 30,000 feet. You've been in this space for 20 plus years. You've seen the contact center where it looked at like staff augmentation. Companies come to
Yeah,
us, come to BPO organizations, if it's captive, if it's outsourced, and they say, look, how do we shrink our costs? And is there a labor arbitrage play, almost like doing a bear hug against the teams? How are you using AI? How are you using tools? I know the tools. We all know who they are. They're all out there, and the technology is so democratized at this point. But how are you using it? And for the people that are on this call, I imagine a lot of them are probably in the same boat as you. They've been running these contact
mm,
centers. They're under pressure to say, look, we need you to cut costs, but we also want you to invest in AI. So where are you putting the AI? Are you putting it in front of the customers? Or is the low hanging fruit actually in front of the agents, maybe in some of the back office?
beautiful point, Larry, you brought up, and I'm going to touch on the nitty gritty that's going on right now, and I'll give you an example with a particular use case, and I'll let you make the choice in which industry you want me to pick up.
Fair enough.
But at this point in time, the AI that we are putting in, one is in front of the customer as self-service bots, whether it is the AI voice bot or it is the AI chat bot. The other one is being put in front of the agent to support the agent, almost like, like my EA, like my everyday EA, like my co-pilot. I know everybody loves the word co-pilot, like the second pilot who's actually driving the car and or driving the airplane, and he's just sitting and taking off it. So these are two main and major areas where the AI right now is being put into the contact center. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about automating processes and functions, which also is happening. But what is really visible is the front end and the agent end. So that's helping drive so much of efficiency on the from a customer perspective, quick and faster resolutions. The agent is happy as well. The person who's working on the call, you made his life so much more easier and so much more faster and so much more beneficial. Those are two areas which is just, I would say, the biggest impact that we are seeing right now coming in the industry. I mean, I can pick up an example. Do you want to pick up a healthcare industry, a telecom, retail, a banking? Give me your choice. I can tell you a few use cases which are so hard hitting. Anyone from that industry listening right now, we can help you transform your function at least 50 to 70% deflection and 50% cost reduction on your current environment, which results in direct revenue and it translates your contact center into revenue generation. Which one do you want me to pick up, Larry, as an
Talk
example?
about insurance.
Okay, let's pick up an insurance segment. All right. So fraud, huge issues on fraud. And this is not even impacting the jobs of the people that are right now working in the insurance contact center environment. Fraud and risk monitoring completely, totally automated using blockchain technology and AI. So your overall companies lose about 8 to 10% on fraud detection and fraud and risk monitoring. Easy recovery. Second, I'll pick up claims. So today you call up a call center and there are people sitting, hey, what's going on? I'm on a lodge a claim, blah, 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 blah. You have the voice agent sitting in front of you, automating your entire claims processing, the initial call, and also sending you messages, hey, your car that you had put down for insurance claim is going to be ready in 10 days. All right. Hey, it's already been 9 days. It's ready tomorrow. Hey, I'm really sorry. It's going to take a couple of days. Just making customer experience so frictionless. At the same time, removing the angst and pain from the call center. Today, you get calls saying, hey, I had, launched my claim and I'm still waiting for my car to be repaired. You guys don't have the, a lot of times you don't have the bumper, you don't have the material. I'm being given a runaround. All those complaints go away so easy. How beneficial is that for the insurance industry? If you look at the healthcare insurance industry or this, from an insurance industry perspective, a cost operating ratio today runs at about 80-85%.
5%.
Along with your expenses, you're running at 97-95%. Your profits only 5 to 7%. That increases to 10 to 12% sitting using AI and AI bots. I'm not saying it's going to change the
Amazing.
world for you, but it just makes life easier for all of us.
Let's switch gears a little bit. We have Rory Gentry on, and Rory has run some of the most incredible social media programs for some of the largest brands in the world. And she tends to look at it from the perspective of, look, how do you engage your customers on social? You utilize social to protect your brand. You utilize it to inform the market on what you're doing, and also, most importantly, to create content. And people look at social media as this almost like this it's like the pink elephant in the room. A lot of the muscle memory from the contact center that we've learned can actually be translated into social media on the channels. This is where a lot of our customers live. This is where they communicate. So, Rory, if I could bring you in, what are you seeing? Like, what are brands doing today? Is it an unrealized potential or untapped? Is there untapped potential in the social media channels to almost take it like what Prevere is doing on the contact center, use that same muscle memory, and turn those everyday interactions or engagements into loyalty, advocacy moments, and dare I say, revenue generating opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are companies who are doing it successfully and really well, and they're really grabbing the bull by the horns and utilizing the omni-channel experience and having social media at the forefront of their company. If you don't move forward with social media at the forefront of your company today, even though you have buy-in today with brand loyalty, in years to come, all of those people, all of those Gen Z alphas, those people are sitting in social media. That's how they're shopping. That's how they're exploring. That's how they're learning new things. And that's really how they're going through life. They're not calling a call center. There may be some instances where they are, but if you don't move forward with that generation, then your current people are only as good as today and as good as the next couple of years. You really need to grab the bull by the horns and have social media at the forefront of your customer experience strategy, because then in 5 years you're going to have those Gen Alphas, the millennials, the Gen
So,
Zs kind of be the forefront of your business and continue to grow your business.
so how do you get these brands? And you've seen them get started. How do you get
Yeah.
them to get some riz? No cap.
So I will I will say, I've seen people do social media really well, and I've also seen people do social media in a very like artistic kind of way. And while I agree with the aesthetics and it's really putting your brand forward and how your lookbook might be and how you're rolling out your new clothing line for fall, all of that's great. But if you're not in the conversations and you're not using it on a real basis, like you're not actually one of those people in the social channels talking to the people who are in there, your customers, your future customers, then your pictures and your beautiful settings of what your product is today is only going to take you so far. So you really need to have that personal touch. If you're utilizing it like a call center and having that personal touch inside of those channels, you're going to flip the script on, oh, this isn't just an aesthetic tool that I can use. This is also a way for me to drive e-commerce. It's a way for me to drive conversation. It's a way for me to drive brand affinity. And it's also a way for me to make relationships with our people and our future of our company. So that's, I really think that you need to be in the feeds. You need to be seeing what conversations are being had. And then you need to be jumping in where it makes sense. And brands like Datamatics can help you do that.
Where
And
do you
Rory,
see?
Rory, just a point. I'm going to jump in on that.
No,
Uh,
no, go
Yeah.
for it.
I
You want
think
to moderate? You know, like
with yeah, you can stop us from fighting, Larry,
I don't.
if
You're
we decide to. Thank you, Rory, and I think looking at the agentic AI and some of the generative AI technologies coming in, social media marketing is taking a huge change for the future. It will actually become more impactful. You're able to see the choices that people are making using your AI analytics. You're able to go to market faster. And companies would be keeping lesser,
Yeah.
products in their garage and selling more. How do you
Yeah.
think that will have an impact on the existing social media, marketing aspect?
I mean, it's all about the data. So if you gain all the insights from all the stuff that Praveer's talking about, utilize AI to gain insights about your customers, who's talking about what, to not even just your customers, what are other customers talking about in other brands? How do you flex your brand into how other people are talking about other brands that are successful? So utilize AI to get those data points, understand what's going on, understand what's working, what's not working, what trends are happening. Right now, social media is moving so quickly, especially in the trend space. But when you flex into a trend and you really become a part of it, you become part of a moment in social, and it kind of starts the conversation around your brand. So utilizing AI to do all of that really helps, make you faster and to the point, because it is moving so quickly. If you don't have AI in place today to kind of help you with those conversations and also understand what's happening inside of social, then you're not going to be fast enough to be able to react at the speed of social media.
Can you use, so if you take like the two, there's a dichotomy, right? So you have the contact center built to communicate and built to engage customers if it's on phone, if it's on chat, and if it is on social media, it's the same context. Um, Brands are creating content, like you said, some are creating more, um, more dynamic content than others, but they're still using it. Can you use AI, and maybe if you can identify some of the technologies or how you use AI to identify what are the conversations that you would actually engage with? Who
Mm-hmm.
would you move to a human to use that kind of that empathetic voice,
Yeah.
maybe to the DMs, right? And can you use AI to identify who's the trolls? Like where
Yeah.
the cut, like if a brand gets a million mentions a month, how do they know who to engage with? And do you use AI to do that?
Yeah, so we use tools to help us bucketize the information that's coming in. And then we set up a whole system as to what bucket is the most important bucket to work with today. It might change in a couple of hours because there might be a viral post that happens. But realistically, what happens inside of the tools that we use that have AI is that the AI is feeding all the information into the tool. It's bucketizing it for you. So then you can decide as a team what's most important, who you want to talk to first and who do you want to talk to next. And that's how you use AI in order to kind of talk to the best people first and kind of jump into the conversations that will make the most impact in that moment.
Pravir, what do you think?
Yeah, that's an interesting and totally love what you said, Rory. And I think and absolutely we are progressing to totally digest and totally transform what's happening right now in the marketing space. Well, while AI is going to go ahead and impact call centers and contact centers and the transactions that the people are doing and make it a mix and match of a human in the loop kind of situation. From a data perspective, it is going to totally transform the world. And it's already done that. It's not going to,
Yeah.
it's already done that. And
Yeah.
what we are seeing on the marketing space, Larry, what me and Rory are seeing on the marketing space, on social media space, it's become so intelligent, so sharp. My phone's lying on my right side. If I'm talking, I want to visit Boracay. By the way, for some of you not aware, is one of the best islands in the world in the Philippines. Uh, it tells me, it all of a sudden I open my phone, it's talking about, it's giving me signals that these are some of the places in Boracay that you should visit. I haven't even spoken on my phone about it. That's the intelligence of data that's flowing into the system and helping us out. Today, from a marketing perspective, social media management perspective, you put the AI layer that we've been building behind it, and that's also there in the market. Some of the big players are behind all of this technology building, and obviously, we are building it through Meta, this particular one, Larry. It will blow your mind. You put it in your marketing, it'll tell you which customer to call, which customer has a propensity to buy, which customer, please do not even call again and talk to them, how to increase your marketing, how to increase your marketing spend, how to essentially make your marketing every cent and every penny count. So overall profitability of the organizations will shoot through the roof if they use AI in an efficient and intelligent manner.
Interesting. So let's take a step back. I think we have a
Let me
second
just add
poll.
one more thing,
Oh,
Larry.
go for
Sorry,
it. Go
before
for it.
I let you go. In terms of the tools and how we use AI inside that tool, the other great thing that I just want to make sure we make clear is that those tools are a safety measurement too. It is all about protecting your data, all about protecting how our agents are going out to your customers and speaking with them. All of that is tracked inside the tool. So that's a safety measurement that's taken. So not only is the AI serving up who is the best person to talk to when, it's also safe for us to be responding to your customers in that place in order to gain all the information, have the conversation, and serve up the right data at the right time. So I just want to make that clear too. So it's the tool is useful in many different ways. AI is useful in many different ways. One of them obviously being the safety measurement.
Yeah, protecting
So
your
yeah,
brand is
and you bring up a good point. Safety is a big question that everyone's asking. And when
Especially
I
with
speak,
AI.
yeah, especially with AI, when I speak to some of my customers and all obviously friends and colleagues and everyone says, "Hey, what's AI gonna do? Is it gonna steal my data? Is it gonna steal my information? Is my data available now for everyone?" So and so forth. Trust me, guys, it was always every time available for everyone to see. There's nothing new, especially with the advent of internet. But the point is, at the same time, countries, companies, and organizations are coming up with security layers. Yes, you got to be prudent on what you choose. You got to work with the right organizations. You got to work with the right tools. There are so many FTP, we might call it, which is a free to play. I use that word because I'm a gamer, so it's a free to play game. So in that kind of situation, don't go there. It's okay to pay a little, but work with the best company. You can always get technologies on the market which you might feel you might save a buck on the dollar. Not a great idea. Do your research, select the best. Otherwise, yes, Rory, that's a big question, and it can land organizations in serious trouble if they don't select the right
Yeah.
partner.
It's tracking everything that everybody is doing inside the tool, not only the people outside the tool. It's not only just bringing that information in, but it's also tracking what's happening inside the tool, which keeps everything safe and secure.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Sorry, Larry, you were saying
so
anything?
we have another poll. We'll get out. So as we want to get this out there, is which AI-driven CX capability has the greatest potential for impact? And the you have the options of conversational AI, so like chatbots, virtual assistants, VAs, predictive analytics, and personalization, social media and engagement, automation, or agentic automation augmentation tools. So this is your
So,
second poll.
yeah,
It should pop up on the screen right there.
It
that's
did.
there.
Which AI-driven CX capability has the greatest potential? The reason why this is interesting is I think what the market is looking at is different than what's actually being built. I think there's a question that needs to be had, which is the technology is so democratized at this point. There's so many opportunities to use AI in the CX space. But what is the expectation of customers? So are customers happy being uh, um, communicating with AI bots and VAs, or is the real opportunity in the back office for predictive analytics, or potentially where Rory is now talking about, which is social media engagement and using AI to determine where do we want to communicate, who do we want to communicate with, and also from an AI, from a social media perspective, actually building content. So I see 60% are talking about personal hyper personalization, predictive analytics. So let's go long on that for a minute. Uh, a Praveer on this. Where are you using it? Where's Datamatics using predictive analytics, and how are they utilizing it from the perspective of this is how we're using
I,
AI?
I think, Larry, our audience is smarter than us, and they actually know what's happening in the AI space. I don't think we should be conducting this webinar. They should be talking more about it. It's absolutely on bang because analytics, predictive analytics and personalization, let me pick it up. Predictive analytics sits behind every AI action that you're going to do, whether it is on the chatbot, virtual assistant, augmented tools, or social media engagement, anything to do predictive analytics sits right behind that. So yes, it is gonna that is the biggest impact. What is AI? At the end of it, it it is a tool that is scrubbing data and information, and it is actually analyzing, utilizing the information, what is the best option and what is the next best action, which is predictive analytics. Whether you use that predictive analytics in your call center, helping the agent to say, okay, hey, this is the next best action you should take based on what they're listening from the customer, or listening to the customer, they're suggesting to the customer either a voice bot or chat bot, this is the best action. It is using predictive analytics to the same. So which is absolutely a totally given, and thanks to the audience to select the same one. At the same time, I kind of like want to deviate a little bit on this one. While social media engagement, etc., people did not vote much for it. However, I'm going to say social media engagement and social media curation, or your actions on social media every day are already being impacted by AI on a daily basis, even if you're aware or not aware of what's going on. If you pick up your phone today, your phone tells you what did you do a year back, what did you do 2 years back, what did you do 3 years back, what did you do 5 years back. My Google actually tracks and tells me that you were at this place up 6 months ago or 3 months ago. It's dangerous. I mean, I hope my family doesn't pick it up and say, oh, you were here last week for dinner. And I'm like, it's a fantastic restaurant. it actually predicts and tells you, okay, this is the food that you ate. It is unbelievable what's happening. The point is that with all this going on, how do we take advantage of it in our organizations, in the way we work? Do we want to take an advantage of it, or do we want to become a slave of the same? If we don't take an advantage, we'll have a serious situation. I mean, Larry, let me pick up a use case, right? Where this actually totally transformed this entire analytics piece for a telco giant in Southeast Asia. I don't want to name the company, but this is where we implemented. They had serious issue with number of calls coming in, number of transactions, customers unhappy. We used Google AI Contact Center. 42% of the queries were resolved automatically, resulting in a $2.5 million saving on an annual basis. Now that's not quick and easy. The amount of spent people might ask on AI was, you laugh at me. The total spend, Larry, was about in the range of $250,000 a year
Mm.
against $2.4 million of saving for that telco company in Southeast Asia. So these are some of the amazing, and all was using predictive analytics and the AI tools which were augmenting the contact center and the agents. The agents were not removed as much, but the benefits that came about for the organizations are huge. So that's where AI is learning how to use it is important.
Rory, I pass it on to you for a minute. And you've worked with some large enterprises and some, SMBs, but mostly probably on the enterprise side. Um, when you bring on a new client and you're looking at solutioning for a new program in CX and what are some practical steps enterprises can take to evolve that CX strategy from being defensive like a cost containment to being more offensive where it becomes revenue growth, and where is some of the low hanging fruit, and what is some advice you could give to some enterprise orgs, mid-sized businesses that are on this webinar that are looking like, how do I get started to shift the conversation?
Yeah, I think the best place to start is really in the feeds. Understanding what your customers are saying about your company and then flipping the script. If it's in a negative tone, you really need to be in there having the conversation with them. They just want to be heard. They're people, your people. Utilize what you can to have a conversation and really grow a relationship with somebody. Because if they're talking about your brand in a negative way, they're spewing that to so many different people. And if you're not in there stopping that conversation and really having a time with them and turning the script with them, then all that negative impact has happened and your brand has missed out on turning that around. So if you're
How
really not in
often?
the feeds, I mean,
How
seconds
often
each
are people
day,
coming to you and saying, like, how
all
people
the
coming
time,
to you
left
and
and
saying,
right.
we don't know where to start? Like, how do
Yeah.
you help? Is this
No,
an
I think you can't just have like one person in there just kind of checking to see what's going on. It really needs a 24/7 attention. You have to be in the conversations, you have to be in the feeds. You really need to start at ground zero, understanding what your customers are saying and being there to have the conversations with them in a human manner. You need to meet your customers where they are in the moment that they're in it. Don't make them wait, and then
is
you're
there a
going to be able to start to turn the conversation and then turn those into e-commerce moments where you can sell them things. You got to start at ground zero and turn the conversation first.
is there a cost where maybe you can help with this or Prevere, but since there's so many conversations happening on social media, if you think about it, even just from the meta glasses that Prevere brought up,
Hmm.
um, where there's so many mentions around meta glasses, regardless if you're the brand that's selling them, can you
Yeah.
track those conversations and jump in and say, hey, we actually sell these glasses? I mean, is there an opportunity for those brands?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a tool. So, like ground zero, you'd have to have a tool in order to listen. Once you have the listening tool, then you can do the response management. I advise you to get into a tool, have all the information get fed in, see what's happening, have your person in there kind of understanding the data that's happening first, and then start to jump into the conversations and start to turn the script or be a part of the conversation or jump into conversations that not necessarily about your brand, but about other people's brands, where you can be like, oh yeah, well, we also have those same jeans. You can jump into this conversation. Like, here's a link from our company. We can sell those jeans to you as well.
And are you seeing the
Hey, you know
connection?
what? Sorry, Roddy, something comes to my mind, and I don't want to say
Mhm.
it, so I want to ask you the question to educate the audience because you're more experienced in this and educate all of us. So, if there was a marketing company, right, as a prospective client, right, or as your existing client, I'm sure you work with a lot of them. Uh, what would you suggest to them, and what are some of the technologies or use cases in AI that you would suggest to them that they should plug in to, make them reach exponential levels? Not even marketing companies. I mean, any company has a marketing arm, right? Because that's your
Yep.
expertise. What would you suggest that that company should or could do with some of the technologies that we are seeing?
I would advise them to get a listening tool.
Okay.
Start there. Yeah, that
Okay.
would be the technology that I would start with, because then you can understand what's happening first. Be educated before you jump in, and then use that tool to your advantage. Bucketize it, create a flow, a workflow for your agents to sit inside of those tools, and then respond to the most important things first, and then really go out and have those conversations with your people. Again,
Beautiful.
human touch is most important.
So when you say listening tool and then agents, dichotomizing that information or
Mhm.
digesting it. So that agent today could be an agentic agent, and then the human does the human touch and goes ahead and talks to the people. Is that what we are suggesting?
Yeah, I mean, you can always have an agentic agent at the front to understand, to kind of like dish off the different
Yeah.
conversations and really handle the ones that don't need the human touch, and then utilize
Awesome.
the human touch for the ones that are more dynamic, the ones that need more eyes on it. Look, the most important thing is to be relevant where you are. So when you're speaking
True.
to people, if I'm speaking to Revere, it's different from the conversation that I have with Larry. And I know that based off of his profile, the way Larry works, the way Larry shops, what things he's doing. And Purveer is totally different from Larry, and I'm going to be doing something totally different from him. So the agent needs to understand, although like agentic agents are great and they can handle the easy ones, to dish off the more complicated ones to the actual agent, the human touch agent. That's where AI is so great. They can handle all the easy ones, let the human touch agent really have those human conversations and understand who Purveer and Larry are and how to speak to them in those different ways. And that's where the dividing
But how
power
do companies
happens between
know? How
AI.
do companies know? And I think that this is the biggest challenge because we do have another poll that I need to throw out there, which actually
Mhm.
will kind of be a good pivot for this. The poll is, what's your biggest challenge in adopting AI for the contact center? You have cost and ROI justification, you've got change management, workforce adoption, you've got technology integration, data quality, all of that. I think that if we were having this conversation, how do you know what are the conversations that AI can handle versus what are the conversations that a human can handle? And are you using AI to make that determination? And is that a challenge? Like, what are we doing as an organization when companies come to us and say, "Hey, Datamatics, I need you to help us, not only build out our social media strategy, engage with customers, create content, but blend that into the contact center." What are we doing to determine what can AI handle versus what can humans handle? And then we'll go into the poll question. But
I,
Rory, let's
I,
look at you
oh, the whole question already answers already came up. What's your biggest challenge in AI adoption? Cost, ROI, change management, technology integration. I
and
think
I
I
think it's
think
a good pivot. I think it's a fine pivot. I'm not saying I don't want to look it. We've got 38% on change management, 38% on technology integration. I
Mhm.
would have assumed it's cost and ROI justification. I think that's the biggest challenge that companies have. Maybe I see it from my perspective, which is like, how do we justify this? But in I think it comes down to not just how to get it, because there are line items where companies are saying we have to spend money on AI. Well, my question is to Rory or to Praveer is, how how do you know what conversations can AI handle through agentic versus what
Mhm.
conversation is human going to handle out of the scratch? Like conversation comes in, mention comes in, discussion comes in. How do you know who's handling it?
Larry, the most important aspect of any technology integration or any change, forget technology integration, is from a customer's perspective, what is it that the customer is looking for? So you got to do a deep understanding of who your customers are. What are they looking for? Second is, who is your organization, where you're heading towards it? Third is, what kind of information and data do you have ready? So I'll pick up an example of these. Uh, First and foremost, off the hook, anything low hanging, easy, and as Rory pointed out as well, easy situations, solutions, quick answers, you should be automating today, letting the agentic AI handle that. And even from the question picked up by the people on technology integration, it's an easy technology integration. I would not recommend to an organization to jump in and change, remove all the humans and put simply AI into the mix. It's not going to happen. That's not what it is. It is the human in the loop situation. However, every organization needs to take a step at a time and reach that maturity
Yeah.
level. It'll be
Yeah.
different for different organizations, different for different industry. Larry, to your question, I would not answer a straightforward question there. Example, in the healthcare insurance segment and even in the PNC insurance segment, you can actually automate the end-to-end claim process using agentic AI agents, because the use cases are tried and tested today, can be done. Especially with blockchain agentic AI mix, it can be done and it
Doesn't that
should
make
be
the
done.
tech, but doesn't that, so it's ironic that technology integration is one of the bigger challenges, right? I would assume, change management, workforce adoption, absolutely 100%. I think that's going to tone down a bit as we move on and AI becomes, agentic AI, which is AI has been around for 50 years. Agentic AI has been around for 24 months. But technology integration isn't the intent, isn't the one of the impetus of AI is that it is relatively easy to integrate. It does
It
cut through a
is.
lot
Yeah.
of workflows, right? Or I'm sorry, the APIs, and it kind of utilize that. So on social in the contact center, it isn't AI, doesn't it help with technology integration?
Yes and no. It is a new complex product. It's a new complex service. The problem is most of the organizations today are sitting in, I would say, archaic, bigger organizations, archaic or dinosaur level, technologies. And over the last 10 years, the technology has been changing dramatically. People have been moving, from the black mainframe screens where I started my coding days into even today in the airline industry, you're using the black mainframe to book tickets and to act as your CRM. Trust me, there is a long way to go, and organizations are using multiple different tools and technologies. That's where the integration question to what you're saying is, yes, it should sound easy, it should sound whatever, but it will take it step at a time at a time. If you've got 5 systems you want to integrate, the step one is to integrate them together first, and then the automation layer and other layers come in. It'll just take a little bit more extra time for organizations which have more technology, I would say, diversification than for technologies who have, than for organizations who already simplified themselves over time. I don't know. Rory, what do you think?
No, I agree with you. I think, I don't think you need to dive head first into it. I think it's something that could be forever changing. It's not something that's going to be set in stone right from the
Yeah.
gate. It's something that you start with. You start with a small segment of items that could be automated or have the agentic AI address. And then you can kind of grow from there based off of what you're seeing and what's most important. But in like the retail world, where you're using that kind of technology and having those integrations, it's more on the front of like track my order, order lookup. I need to do a return, all the simple processes that can happen that you don't really need human touch. And then there's those more deeper level human touch types of situations where you can use the actual agent to kind of perform those tasks.
I think that's very well said. You have pretty much ended up defining the AI automation implementation
Yeah.
strategy for any organization. Totally, totally with you. If
I
that's
think
every organization goes that route and does exactly what you've said, they'll be successful rather than jumping in. Because today people are asking questions. Oh, AI is coming. I'm going to put it and change the world. Hold on, hold on. What are you putting?
Yeah.
What are you doing with
Yeah.
it? Hold on. It's not like you've got a great pair of jeans that's going to make you look nice. No, you got to work out as well before you want to look nice. You just can't
Yeah.
decide on that, or you got to buy the right size so that you got to look nice, or the right color which suits your tone. So totally, totally with you on that. And I think that's a fair, fantastic call. Sorry, Larry, you were smiling. You wanted to say something. I know you really want to say something. Go ahead.
I think it's a
He
wonderful
wants to
look.
say something.
Oh, I think that AI, look, at the end of the day, AI creates some level of competitive, durable advantage for organizations if they utilize it
Yes,
right.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's going to lower your operational costs. It's going to unlock, new sales opportunities. And I think that's the intent of this discussion is to really navigate that. How can organizations like Datamatics help? It's opening up these discussions and not being afraid to look at them, knowing that there is this opportunity. It's AI strengthens, that retention. It can build loyalty if you utilize it in the right way. If you blend that human empathy with the way that AI can augment that. I mean, it enables the contact center to essentially align with broader revenue strategies across the org. And I think that there's certainly a lesson to be had there. But I think we're right on time, which in itself kind of feels like a minor miracle, especially in a context conversation because it's just there's a lot of things you could touch. So big thanks to Rory, big thanks to Pravir, bringing the brain power, and thank you so much for everybody for joining us. And if there's one thing I hope that you could kind of take away, it's AI isn't really about replacing people in your contact center. I don't think
Correct.
that's what we're trying to do. It's about giving them superpowers. It's about giving your agent or your social media moderators, the ones that are communicating, that are talking with your customers. Just like if you're a brick and mortar and they're walking to the stores, you want to turn those everyday interactions from cost drains into moments that earn loyalty, that earn revenue. And as you head back to your organizations today, I want you to think about where you could kind of flip the script.
I think Larry, I'm gonna jump in. I want to really say this because you said
Always
it. I
jumping
just
in,
can't
this guy.
just can't help it. Just can't help it. This one, when you said AI is not going to replace humans and it'll actually augment their factor. The fact is, yes, you might see organizations will increase in profitability utilizing AI. The efficiency increase that is slated at about $7 trillion in the next 3 to 5 years with AI,
It's
which
crazy.
means that more jobs get created. So in a way, there'll be more work to do for humans rather than less. I'm sorry, I just couldn't help it. Was
You're
blowing in
good.
my mind when you
You're
said that.
we're used to this. This is fine. We always talk about this. And when, I think Pravir has been married for 22 years. His wife has been trying so hard. I have not heard her say any words. It's always been Pravir. But look, we love you guys so much.
All right, great talking to you.
It's so wonderful. Remember, go to
Sorry,
datamatics.com.
there's a
Ask us
question.
some questions. Oh boy, we've got a question from Ambika. Um, all right, here it is. How do you maintain empathy and human connection in customer interactions while leveraging AI for revenue growth? That's a tough one. I'm not going to unpack that one because I think we've trying to address that throughout the last 30 minutes, but
Definitely.
No,
let
I
Rory
think
kind
I
of.
think I think
No,
Rory
no, no,
answered
give
that
Rory a
question.
chance. Let her
I
She
feel
let
like
her
you've
answered it.
addressed it.
She
Yeah,
addressed
I
it.
think
So
we,
Rory, go ahead. You addressed it. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I think, like I said, you really need to just utilize AI to, and like you said, Larry, provide superpower to your agents. It's really going to enable your agents to kind of do the work that they need to do and let the other work be handled by a tool, a bot, an agentic person.
absolutely.
So I think that's how you kind of move forward with that.
And I think the easiest way of looking at this, especially from operating costs, it's like every brand's going to be different. Cross-selling, building customer retention. It's a use, these are use cases. So I think Pravir said it earlier, which is it's like it's almost like diagnosing what the challenge is when you walk in. When you walk into a doctor's office, They don't say, "All right, let me introduce you to the surgeon. He's gonna do all this stuff on you." It's like, slow down. Where's the problem? And I think understanding that and having those conversations, working with people like Rory, like Praveer, to determine where do you want to reduce operational costs. Where do you want to create opportunities for upsell? Where do you want to cross sell? And start there. It's about diagnosing rather than give. There's no silver bullets. I don't think that that's the intent of this. So again, thank you so much. I know that we've run a couple minutes over, but you know how to get in touch with us. We're relatively
Yes,
easy.
happy to
Not
continue the
for the plug,
conversation.
but remember, datamatics.com. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful